right, greetings and welcome to another episode of Catholicism and Coffee. I am Beth Kaczynski.
I am Stephen Kaczynski.
Here we talk about all things Catholic and we enjoy some great brews. So, are you enjoying a good brew tonight?
I'm enjoying a good cup of tea because it's a little late for coffee for me.
Yeah, well, tea is still a brew in my book.
It is. It's honey and ginger.
Ooh. So tonight we're going to be talking about Catholic themes in a Christmas classic. And the Christmas classic in question is what I think is the greatest Christmas movie of all time. It's a Wonderful Life. Okay, if it's not the greatest Christmas movie, what is?
It would be Die Hard.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No. It's a Wonderful Life is way better than Die Hard.
No.
And we have an unexpected guest. Hello, Bianca. Are you going to say hello to everybody? Okay, here, back me up here. It's a Wonderful Life is the best Christmas movie, right?
She doesn't know. She's never seen Die Hard. We'll watch it this weekend.
Okay, anyway. Before we get started, just a few quick things. So if you're still Christmas shopping, please go check out our Amazon page. We've got several books there. And if you've already bought our books or already read our books, leave us a review, preferably 5 stars. And if it's not a 5-star review, well, give us a 5-star review anyway and send us your constructive criticism.
Yeah.
So on any book you've purchased or read, go ahead, leave a review. Also, our books are all on KDP, I believe. So that's Kindle Direct Publishing, or no, Kindle Unlimited. Kindle Unlimited. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Kindle Direct Publishing is important to us, not to them.
Yes. So if you are part of Kindle Unlimited, you can read all of our books. I think the only things we don't include on there are our saint journals because those are meant to be written in.
Yeah, that wouldn't quite work.
Yes. But if you want to read our Christmas devotional or Advent devotional, our new special edition devotional, or your book, which we'll be talking about in a little bit, those are all on Kindle Unlimited. And yes, reading those, it helps support us. It helps the algorithms, hopefully, and also leaving reviews will hopefully help the algorithms. Other people will see, oh, there's a 5-star review with 100 reviews. I want to read this book now. So help us out. Leave a review. Read us on Kindle Unlimited or buy our books. That's good too.
Yes. And also, as we announced, we are doing our... Why? Sorry, the cat bit me. So that'll help us move forward with our... film project that we are working on.
Yes.
Details will come eventually.
And our other quick thing is, as we announced in last week's episode, we now have a Facebook group. So as we have been talking about, we want to get it more into pop culture, sharing books and movies and recommendations with other Catholics. That is the major purpose of this group, I would say, or the main purpose.
Yeah.
So please come and join us. And we promote other content. We don't just want to talk about ourselves all the time.
No, we're just a bunch of nerds who want to hang out with other Catholic nerds.
Yes. And find some new books and movies to enjoy. Okay, if you don't behave yourself, you're going to be sent to your room. Sorry. Unexpected guests.
Yeah.
Is
Still not as bad as a certain one.
Yeah, I'm talking about that Professor Heterodox character.
Yeah, I hope he stays in the deep recesses of where he belongs.
Okay.
So.
Great. So as we mentioned tonight, we're going to be going a little bit into Stephen's book, Film Forming Faith. So tell our good listeners a little bit about what Film Forming Faith is about.
How did you put it? It was a film analysis memoir?
Faith and film memoir?
Faith and film memoir, where I talk about my various experiences with a few films, actually 12 of them, and I break down how they have influenced my faith or helping grow my faith. So yeah, there's so we go pretty deep into that, actually. I go through 12 films, and one of them we'll be discussing tonight. I am not going to read the whole thing in the book, so sorry, kids, you still have to buy the book in order to read it. Or those of you who've read the book, maybe you want to double check it.
Yeah. So It's a Wonderful Life is one of your sections.
Yes.
So why did you choose to include It's a Wonderful Life?
Well, one thing that really struck me about the film is, one, One, it's a holiday classic. We've been watching it in our home. I watched it back home before you and I were
Yeah.
married and living together, in that order. And I wanted to, and there were a lot of positive things about the film, and I wanted to talk about the marriage aspect since I'm still pretty newly married, according to the nut. It's 5 years. You're still considered newlywed, so I've got a couple of years left, and I wanted to delve into that aspect, and that film actually brought it out very well.
So why did you choose to focus on marriage in your book?
Um, well, I've noticed that in certain aspects and online, that marriage is very frowned upon in certain circles of the manosphere, or more accurately, the boyosphere, because they're immature boys, not men. And in Catholic circles, it is either you get married or you become a priest. But we didn't really get at least in my age group, the religious education that I gained, there wasn't a great explanation of what marriage is. We didn't have solid examples. We just had home. And not everyone has a really good, solid marriage um, example at home. And I wanted to try to give something that would be a decent example that people could see. Because, I mean, look at modern television, even 20 years ago. Dad or the mom is so great, and the mom's doing all this, whereas the dad is just a bumbling idiot. There are a few exceptions, but most of the time that's the stereotype, and it aggravates me. For one, it's not realistic. Two, not all men are idiots, and as a man, I am very much insulted, and I want to tell these writers to go fly a kite. And walk off of a very short pier into a freezing lake, and stay there. So I wanted to give a good example of that, and I think It's a Wonderful Life actually does that quite well.
Okay.
Does it on a couple of fronts, but I focus on our two characters of George and Mary Bailey.
Yes. So what are some of the aspects of their marriage that you found inspirational or you think Catholics should look to as an example?
Well, as St. Paul says in Ephesians, it says, be subordinate to one another. And there's actually a lot of that in the film between George and Mary. He serves the greater community, but he also is a service to his home. And Mary is his helpmate, which is actually a term used quite often in the Catechism. Or there's a section in the book that I actually cite. Hold on,
Yes, please read for all to enjoy.
I'm just gonna find the actual one. For all of you following at home, it's 1605 in the Catechism. But sure, I'll read it. Quote, Holy Scripture affirms that man and woman were created for one another. It is not good that man should be alone. The woman, flesh of his flesh, i.e., his counterpart, his equal, his nearest in all things, is given to him by God as a helpmate. She thus represents God, from whom comes our help. Therefore, a man leaves his father and mother and cleaves to his wife, and they become one flesh. The Lord himself shows that this signifies an unbreakable union of their two lives by recalling what the plan of creation had been in the beginning. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. So this has been a tale as old as time, to quote one of your favorite films. So there's a lot, and also it shows George as a leader of his household, which I appreciated, but also Mary, as I said, is his helpmeet, and she actually sacrifices quite a lot to be with him. And there's that unconditional love, and it's shown. It's not like, oh, I love you. No one cares. Do you show it? Because I mean, all kinds of films and television say, "Oh, I love you," but then undercuts every single thing that person does, and it's actually quite. It doesn't show what you're telling. And when I went to film school back in my day, we were taught show, don't tell. And these morons who write films now do all the telling and don't show very much because they're incapable of that because they weren't taught properly. Excuse me while I vent a little bit. But yeah, so we see Mary. She does tell George she loves him. He tells her he loves her, but he doesn't. But she doesn't undercut him. She shows it by very simple things. And there's actually a scene where, in the film, where George asks her, "Hey, why did you marry someone like me?" Because she had better prospects. Several times it's shown there are a couple of guys who really are trying to get her attention, even when they first meet as adults. There's a guy who's just trying to, he's being a peacock. He's showing his plumage, trying to get her attention. She's just not having it. As soon as she sees George, she's just like, here, I got to go talk to this guy. Hands him her drink, and then he keeps trying to talk to her, and then George looks at him. That's one of my favorite lines in the movie. He looks at her and goes, "Why don't you just stop annoying people?" Man, guy first, because this guy is pathetic. He just goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, hey!" I'm like, you walked into that one, moron. So that kind of thing. So there's this mature relationship and this mature marriage and this choice. Because if you pay attention in the film, George does not want to settle down.
No.
For quite a while. He actually, right before he starts macking with Mary, he's arguing openly with her about it. And she's not giving him much of a choice, but she's not emasculating him. They talk about all this stuff that he wants to do, but she's just like, "George, that's not who you are." She doesn't say that. She just gives him a look. A testament to Donna Reed's acting and Capra's directing. She's just like, "That's not who you are. That's not who you were meant to be."
Yeah. And even George's mother kind of guides him in that direction. She encourages him to pursue Mary. And she's like, Mary's the type of girl who's going to show you the way. Because Mama Bailey knows, oh, George is not really going to leave Bedford Falls. He's going to be honorable. He's going to stay and run the business. Because he doesn't want the building and loan to fall into Potter's hands. Even though he hates the building and loan. He hates Mr. Potter more.
And Potter, and it's not even he hates him. He just doesn't like the creature that Potter is acting like.
Yes. And he never has. From the age of like 12, 13 years old, when he goes into a meeting and interrupts his dad and gives Mr. Potter what for and says, "My pa's better than you."
He's a bigger man than you'll ever be.
Yes, bigger man than you'll ever be. Glad you could quote it because I forgot it.
That's okay. But yeah, there's a true man there.
Yes.
Even as a 12-year-old, he was a better man than, well, a lot of men could be today. So that was one thing I was really passionate about writing about marriage and that film in particular. And I kind of think because how awesome George is, because George is a great guy.
Yes.
And he actually, and Mary kind of gets overlooked, but fortunately she gets, she kind of, I try to give her due, and I cite several sections in the film where she actually shows that she is a good helpmate.
Yeah. So what are some sections or parts of the film you talked about in your book?
In the film, there's a point where they're moving a family into a home. These this Italian immigrant family,
It's the Martinis.
the Martinis. And it is heavily implied that George and Mary, this is not the first time George and Mary have done this, but they give gifts to the Martinis when they drive into the new house. They go to the new house, they give them bread, wine, and I think it's salt.
Yes. Bread that this house may never know hunger, salt that life may always have favor, wine for prosperity or something.
Yeah. And it's very strongly implied that this is not the first time that this kind of thing has happened. And it's not unusual that Mary is along with him.
Yeah. Because this is George's business, is the building and loan. He builds houses for people who otherwise can't afford them.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going and welcoming them to their new home, doing almost a christening on their house. But Mary's right in the trenches with him, being a good neighbor, a good member of the community.
Mm-hmm.
And she's helping carry their children into the car.
Yep. Another section I actually mention is when the Great Depression first happens. It's Mary and George's wedding day. They're about to leave for New York for their honeymoon. Great Depression happens, and she sees that the banks are all closed and people are going to the building and loan and are like, hey, we need money to get through the week.
Yeah.
And they didn't have much money. They
Yeah, the building and loan didn't have their funds in the back. They had their funds in the bank.
Yeah.
So they have nothing they can give these people to get through the week.
Until Mary comes in and asks, with their wedding fund, their honeymoon fund, and asks, how much does everybody need? She could have been selfish. Now, I did say I made a mistake in the book that she didn't really complain, but she goes, George, what are you doing? We're going to be leaving. And in the end, she just was like, no, gotta help my hubby. And they still managed to have a nice wedding night. Thanks to Bert and Ernie. But she keeps it simple. And she's not extravagant. She just is like, hey, welcome home, Mr. Bailey. That's all you need. And it's really well done in that regard. So that's a couple of sections I quote in the book.
So what else about this film do you think makes it Catholic?
Well, servant leadership, a good example of faithful marriage. Because, I mean, George has a couple of girls trying to woo him over. He doesn't even really pay attention.
Yeah, for a while he says, oh, my marriage isn't for me.
Mm-hmm. Even though he jokes as a kid that he's going to have several wives and a harem.
Silly
He's
boy.
12. But again, he just is like, yeah, no, not me. Not where I'm supposed to be. And one other thing, Christopher just mentioned it in the chat, that one thing makes a Catholic has an angel appear in the plot. Yeah, there's actually several angels. If you watch the film, there's 3. But they appear and they are doing their job to protect. They're trying to help other people, and they are doing their best to save George from killing himself.
Divine intervention at its finest.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting how Clarence chooses to save George. Because he jumps into the water, lake or whatever it is. I think it's a lake.
It's a lake.
Yeah. And then he says, oh, I saved you because I knew you were going to come in after me. Because he's gotten to know George and knows that's the kind of person George is. He will always put others before himself.
It's actually said very early, in the beginning of the film, George doesn't think about anybody else.
Yeah.
It doesn't think about himself. And that's why he's in trouble, because he's too busy worrying about everybody else.
Yeah.
So,
and then that is seen throughout the film, when whether he's giving up college so that he can take his dad's place at the building and loan, and then he gives his college fund to his brother. He could have invested it for a rainy day or said, I'm going to go to college next year once I get this sorted out. But he's like, no, brother, you deserve to go to college.
Yeah. And then the plan was for Harry to come back and then take over. But then Harry comes back, he's married, and his father-in-law wants him for a job.
Yeah.
And he asks his new sister-in-law, he goes, "Hey, how good is this job?" She goes, "It's excellent." And he goes, "Okay. You better take that two-headed brother of mine, because he gives up a lot of himself for everyone, especially those who he loves the most, including his brother, his mother,
Yes.
Mary."
Mm-hmm. Even Uncle Billy, because he tells him one of us is going to jail, it's not going to be me, but then who's out there trying to solve the problem?
Yeah.
Because George had to sink pretty low. So, spoiler if you haven't seen the movie, they lose a lot of money. Uncle Billy accidentally gives it to Mr. Potter. Mr. Potter, being the scumbag he is, doesn't return the money. He keeps it, I guess.
Yeah.
But then George and Uncle Billy realize this money is missing, and that's just not just some personal fund. This is the business money that other people have invested. So losing it is a big deal. And then George and Uncle Billy, they're trying to find it, and then George's like, "We can't find the money. He needs to come up with it somehow." He goes to who he thinks is his only option, which is Mr. Potter, a man he despises, a man he has insulted on many occasions.
Scurvy little spider.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good stuff about George and Mary.
Yeah.
So that's why I chose that particular film for the book.
Yeah, and talking about the ending again, it really is Mary who is the hero of the story at the end. Of course, Clarence comes down and convinces George not to kill himself, but Mary sees the problem, and she doesn't know what's going on, but she figures it out. She can't get through to George. She goes around him and talks to Uncle Billy.
Yeah, and then she calls the whole town.
Yeah, well, we don't know if it was her or Uncle Billy. They probably worked together.
They worked together.
Yeah.
Come on. But she talked, and no one even had a second thought. It was just, George is in trouble. All right, let's go.
Yeah, and it's just such a great example of how you are rewarded for your good deeds, for your servant leadership. Because George has spent his whole life, from the time he was a kid, giving to others. He starts by saving his brother's life.
From drowning.
Yes,
and then
from drowning.
He ends up with damage in one of his ears.
Yep, he's permanently deaf in one ear. And then he's giving up his college education. He's sacrificing his trip to take over the building and loan. He sacrifices leaving Bedford Falls multiple times because he needs to be there for the family business, for his mother, for the entire town of Bedford Falls. Because in the alternate universe where George Bailey does not exist, Mr. Potter has taken over the entire town. There is nowhere for people to go. They have to crawl to Potter. And that's actually mentioned in the very beginning when Peter Bailey, George's father, says this town isn't fit for anyone unless they want to crawl to Potter.
Yeah. It's a pretty brutal film, actually, if you look at it.
Yeah. But George spends his entire life giving to others, and at the end, they give back to him.
Yeah. In excess. Because if you pay attention to the film, the amount of money he loses is $8,000, which back then is a lot of money.
Yeah. It's a lot of money now, I think.
It is a lot of money now. But at the very end, people are coming in, dumping loads of cash. Mr. Martini breaks open the jukebox, dumps a bunch of money, and everyone's dropping money. And then he gets a message from one of his childhood friends, Sam.
Someone who had offered him a job a few years back.
And he said, "You're getting $25,000 from just one source," because he found out, hey, my buddy's in trouble. Gotta go.
Yep.
So he got in excess. And that strength of character for both George and Mary pays back to them in spades.
Yeah, because Mary doesn't have it easy either. Because George does not make a lot of money. They live in this old broken down house, but she loves it.
She loves that house.
And then every day, as Clarence and the Angels narrate, she just tries to make the house a home. You see her fixing the wallpaper.
Mm-hmm. And George is coming in after long hours at the office, doing his best to help others and be a good husband and provider. But she's out working on wallpaper, turning a house into a home, trying to be the best mom she can be.
Yep.
They have 4 kids?
4 kids.
4 kids. Yeah, she didn't come from money.
No.
So it's pretty amazing.
Anyway, let's see what our friends in the comment section have to say.
Well, right now it's just one friend, but he has a lot of things to say, and that's okay.
Okay. Has a comment about Professor Heterodox. We'll skip that one.
We'll come back to it.
Oh, fine. Okay.
Kids say we'll try and get GPT to summarize the book for them, even though Film Forming Faith isn't that big of a book. Yeah, that's sad.
Funny enough, AI knows Film Forming Faith exists.
Yeah, apparently.
Because I just looked it up. I was trying to find the book on Google Shopping or whatever, and then on the AI overview it said Film Forming Faith and talking about the work by Stephen Kaczynski. I'm like, hey, you're famous.
Mm-hmm. To be fair, Homer Simpson used to be capable of rational thought and literate in early seasons of Simpsons before the writers removed those traits from him. That is sad. I've not watched The Simpsons, so I can't say. Servant leadership and Christian male headship, they never go out of fashion in well-written stories. Yeah, because there are ways it can happen, but it can be done poorly, and that's how we get Hallmark movies. Those poor city boys, they don't deserve what they get. Bad film writing shows childish immaturity by holding instant gratification as the highest good and narcissism as being equal to virtuous strength. Figure Stephen would appreciate this point. This is true. This is very true. And it's constant. It's narcissism. That's what it is, because they're like, oh, I need to be seen. Well, do you have anything besides being seen? No. Well, who's going to care? So there we go. I feel lonely on the live chat. I think I'm the only one commenting as Stephen is in Beth talk. Yes. But that's okay. We appreciate that you're here and that you're watching. Did you see the secret ending Saturday Night Live did for It's a Wonderful Life, Stephen, where the town gets justice on Mr. Potter? No, but apparently in this one of the versions of the script, Clarence pops in on Mr. Potter to make his annoyance known. But yeah.
Yeah, and I want to know what happens with Mr. Potter in the end.
Yeah.
Because he's a scumbag, and I don't know. He needs to get what he deserves.
Yeah, that was one thing that a lot of fans have expressed annoyance about.
Yes.
I was always compelled at the scene where George Bailey, as a child, prevents a pharmacist from going on a killing spree. It was just one person, but yeah, it's a great moment.
And we don't think Mr. Gower was intentionally trying to hurt the kid.
No, because when Mr. Gower finds out his mistake, he is horrified.
Yes, he is very remorseful.
Yeah, he embraces George and is weeping.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm sorry.
And that's one example where George's good deed as a child pays off later in life when Mr. Gower sends him a very nice suitcase to use for his trip, which then he doesn't get to go on.
Yeah, but he still has his very nice suitcase.
Yeah, it was the thought that counts.
Oh, and it was a really nice suitcase.
Yes.
Had it embroidered and everything. And the old boss. The film also wasn't afraid George Bailey reached his limit before he attempts to kill himself with the frustration builds up and causes him to be loud and violent to others. That's true. And Jimmy Stewart himself said it was very cathartic, and he was suffering from PTSD because he had just served in World War II as a pilot. He was a bomber pilot. He'd seen a lot of combat. So that's it's a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
And it's pretty neat to see all this manifest. And there's some moments where you're not sure if it's George, is Jimmy acting as George, or it's Jimmy having his breakdown.
Yeah. Art imitating life and all that.
Mm-hmm. So it's pretty amazing when you consider it.
So before we wrap up, do you want to share any more of your book with us?
Um, if you guys like this, please comment and let us know. Oh, I'd like to hear more of the post publishing reflections on this book. We may make it a little bit of a series when we're running low on ideas for other stuff, or there's no movies coming out that really strike our fancy. I'd be willing to do more breakdowns of chapters of the book. Um, so we got that. But yeah, you can find it on Amazon. You can purchase it and read the that section for yourself, and you can see more of what I very lightly touched on. I don't think I really quoted. The only thing I quoted exactly was the catechism section, but you can read that on your own. So we're working on another book.
Yes.
It's a little different than what we've done before, so
Yeah.
that's exciting.
We're hoping to have it out early 2026.
Yes.
Well, spring 2026 would be more accurate.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Yes.
It's a little something a little different.
And like we said, we're hoping to start making a short film next year. So please, please, please support us so we can make that happen. Because making a film is not free.
No, I've tried, and it looks like garbage. But no, if you want to, so we would appreciate the support, and we can make our first short film next year. The script is pretty much done.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about waiting on that part.
No.
So yeah. Anything else?
I think that about wraps it up. Did you get to share everything you wanted to about your section of Film Forming Faith on It's a Wonderful Life?
I think so, unless anyone has any questions or thoughts or comments. We'll give it a couple of minutes. Did you have any additional thoughts and questions? I mean, you were very involved in the process, but did you have any thoughts?
Just It's a Wonderful Life. I think it's a great movie for Catholics to watch, and that was even before I really considered it from the marriage perspective. Because you just see somebody hitting rock bottom and then having to find faith in order to get through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the fact that it begins just with people storming heaven for prayers. And then it shows intercession works. And yes, this is fictional. Yes, it's a movie. But hopefully it inspires you to intercede for others.
Mm-hmm. Certain scene guest currently in the custody of my mind. Let's hope he stays there for the time being. We haven't, there hasn't been an appropriate time for him to come out. Hopefully he stays there, because that frightened some viewers, actually. We got some private messages, and they were frightened. And do we blame them? No. Yeah, we got this Vicky Gasinski character, very insightful and an interesting look into Steve's viewpoint. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You may be a little biased, but that's okay. At this point in our careers, I'm taking whatever bias viewpoints I can get. Especially if they're favorable to us.
Yeah, and as a reminder, go leave reviews for our books if you've bought them or read them.
Really, I thought it was just you. How many did I frighten as heterodox? Enough. We're a small channel, so if I get more than just us, it's enough.
Speaking of small channel, remember to like, comment, subscribe, share us with others.
Tell your friends.
Yes, tell your friends.
One of my favorite YouTubers does often.
Yes, because we would like to increase our viewership, increase our subscribers. Also, remember to follow us on Facebook and join our Facebook group.
Yeah, we have some good discussions there. We're hoping it'll grow a bit more, but yeah.
Yes.
it's been entertaining there
Okay.
for the time being.
Do you have anything else?
No, just buy the books. Because I really want to make this movie because it's something I've been wrestling with for a number of years.
Yes, so buy the books so we can make the movie so Stephen will stop talking about it.
Yes. Professor Paradox wishes to keep you a merry Advent. I forced him to be liturgically correct. Did you properly beat him into submission? Because if you did, we might accept it.
You can beat him with our Advent devotional if you need to.
That would be fun.
Yes, and then make him read it.
Yes, because he might learn something. Actual liturgy. Because I'm a liturgical nerd, I can't help it. Just pray for us. We pray for you
Yes.
every night, and we appreciate you popping on and seeing us discuss our various things. We're going to be taking next week off.
Yeah, I think this will be our last episode for the year because with the holidays coming up, we're a little busy.
Yeah.
And we're going to be away for a while.
Mm-hmm. So we won't be able to sit down and hook up the mic and webcam to film our respective episodes. Because we were wanting to do lives because it's nice to actually interact with you versus just waiting for comments. I mean, we do get comments on occasion for our lives, but it's a little bit more rewarding for us to actually talk with you, and we get some better laughs there, and that's always nice.
And it doesn't just feel like we're talking to a camera or to the cat.
Yeah, because one of the cats definitely doesn't listen. I'm a little frightened where they're at right now.
Maybe they're sleeping.
I hope so. So, unless you have anything else.
No, I think we've covered it. And then some.
Yeah, we went into a lot there. In the meantime, be bold, be brave, be courageous. Enjoy your beverages. I'm drinking the tea because it's easier on my throat. I'm still recovering from a nasty cold. Don't worry, I'm not deathly ill or anything. It's just this stupid cough will not go away. Hopefully, if I move to warmer climates, you would think in Florida I would be in a very warm climate, but unfortunately, it's not helping. But yes, maybe it'll get cleared up soon in the next few weeks. All right. I already did my be bold, be brave, be courageous.
Yes, enjoy your beverage of choice, and God bless.
God bless.
Or in the words of Tiny Tim, God bless us, everyone.
Nice.
And happy Advent, Merry Christmas. We'll see you next year, hopefully.
Amen to that.